So today on War on Weight, it's another one of these so-called live episodes. Like no fancy recordings, no fancy music today. But let's just talk about where do you want to be in 30 days, in 60 days, in 90 days, or even 1 year from today. Hey sister, welcome to the War on Weight. Do you want to find some motivation to finally lose your extra pounds? Do you want to feel great in your favorite pair of jeans? Do you want some weight loss that's actually sustainable? Have you given up that any program will ever work for you? Well, I'm Keitha and I'm your new best friend. I've spent a lifetime on the losing side of the battle. I felt frustrated, exhausted, self-conscious, and despite any success I had in life, I felt like a failure. But I finally won the war. How did I do it, you ask? I discovered how to implement simple, healthy habits, how to completely revamp my mindset, and embrace some things that were causing me to turn to food over and over again. Lastly, I discovered how to make nutrition really super simple. And after just a few short months of fueling my body properly, I dropped more than 50 pounds, and I'm maintaining it by practicing all the healthy habits you're going to learn on this podcast. So if you're tired of feeling like a prisoner in your own body, you're buying clothes to hide your body, not celebrate it, you're done having your weight affect all your relationships with others and more importantly with yourself. You no longer want to eat your feelings and then beat yourself up about it, then this is the podcast for you. Let's armor up, sister, and fight this war on weight together. Okay, so today's episode is all about where you want to be in 30, 60, and 90 days or even in a year. The reason that I'm doing that today is because this is the week that I'm celebrating 1 year post-spinal fusion. I'm going to tell you all about kind of what has gone on in the last year, how I got to a spinal fusion. So we're going to quickly run through these things. So my year since spinal fusion, weight gain, weight loss, months and months of PT, months and months of nerve pain, weight gain, weight loss, tons of mental work. I did some Christ-centered training around the mental aspects of weight loss and around food. I really did all kinds of things to really learn how to motivate myself to keep off my weight loss. I learned how to get back into movement very slowly. I want to move my body and I want to do it in a way that is healthy for me because in the past I've not been healthy with that. Just in my eating I wasn't healthy, but I also wasn't healthy in my exercise because definitely what I've learned over the last 2 years is you cannot outrun the fork and it doesn't matter how hard you try. More weight gain, more weight loss. But I'm loving maintenance. And so when I say weight gain and weight loss, it was okay because I was having a surgery. That's okay. Your body gets fluid on it whenever it's trying to heal. And so when I gained a little bit of weight after my surgery, I didn't freak out because there was nothing to freak out about because I was honoring my body and fueling it properly and doing all the right things. And so let's talk a little bit about that. So January 2021, at this point I had been about 18 months in pretty severe back pain. And it was getting worse and worse. And it was actually kind of funny. I was in a meeting at work and I had gotten to the point to where I had to get on the floor out of the chair to get up from the floor because I couldn't get up from a chair to stand up because the way it would pinch the nerve when I did that movement from sitting to standing. But it was funny that I could do it in a way from the floor that I couldn't do it from a chair. And it got to the point where it's like, okay, this is probably where I need to go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor and they said that I had to pinch nerve. No kidding. So they were going to go in, drill it out, clean it up. And y'all can tell I'm talking in super fast warp speed, and I'm going to warp through this year of these 4 surgeries because you've heard the story before, but just in case you're new to the podcast and you don't know. So I go into the surgery with this little pinched nerve, and 4 weeks later, I'm supposed to be back at work and feeling kind of my normal self. I was not. I was worse. At 6 weeks, I was supposed to be definitely getting back to my normal self. I was not. I was worse. So finally in April, well, I guess it was the last week of March of 2021, I went back to the doctor and demanded another MRI. I mean, if you know me, you know that I'm pretty patient and pretty calm. But when I had enough, I've had enough. And I talk a little bit about that before, that maybe that's not the best way to be. But Actually, I think that's in the next episode. You're going to hear that in the relationship episode, where that I just kind of hold things in. Well, when enough is enough, and I had had enough is enough, I needed to get back to work. I needed to get back to my life. I needed to be out of pain. And so I demanded the MRI, and they found that now I have 2 pinched nerves and a bulging disc because my L5 had collapsed after this little cleaning out the nerve. So I proceeded to go and find a second, third, and fourth opinion. And fast forward through that, I finally found a surgeon I was confident in and comfortable with. And so July of 2021, he did my second surgery. And the second surgery, he went in and said, you know, you're so young and you're so active, and I think we just clean this up. So he took out half of L5, he took out half the disc, stabilized it, and said, let's just get it better. In August, I was doing better for a couple weeks. I'm like, yes, this is it. Well, in August, all of a sudden I started having horrific pain. Like, it was just off the charts. So I went back to the doctor, another MRI, and that's when they see that I have a bone infection from this surgery. Oh my gosh. I just remember just being so like, Lord, what is going on? And I knew that I had had some issues with my first surgery, and I'm not a surgeon, but I have a lot of medical background. I don't know. I just feel like that something was stirred up in there because I trust the surgeon who did my surgery 100% and still do. So fast forward through that, PICC line for 8 weeks, lots of antibiotics. Well, then I had an allergic reaction to the antibiotic, and I literally sat in his office and cried and said, this PICC line is killing me. He was like, the PICC line is not killing you, Keitha. Like, it is. And it's so funny how that when you're in this pain crazy cycle, like, and you're not sure what's going on, all I knew was the PICC line was killing me. But I didn't even have the brain width to figure out that I was doing 2 different antibiotics, 2 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. And every day at the same day, I got this raging fever, and I felt terrible and couldn't stand up without getting dizzy. Like, it was crazy. Finally, after a little bit of time, towards the end of this 8 weeks, I finally sat down and put my hospital quality brain on and started charting my fevers. And I started looking, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I only take 1 of these medicines in the afternoon. That's why it's not happening twice a day. So anyway, I took all this data back into the infection disease control doctor, and he was so excited. He was like, oh my gosh, like, no one's ever brought me a PowerPoint to their appointment. So we figured out I was having an allergic reaction. I stopped that. Things started to get better, but my pain was still there. Like, it was not getting any better. So we ended up, now we're around October-ish is where we are now. And we did another MRI, and the disc that he had taken half of had collapsed. And so my L5 was collapsed. I still had all these pinched nerves and bone spurs, all kinds of things in there. So made the decision that I had to have the fusion, the thing that I was trying to avoid. But the part of the story that I skipped was between January and July, and what happened to my mentally inside of me, I guess I should say, in July when he did the surgery. When he told me that I've taken out half of your disc and half of, your vertebrae, and you're going to stabilize it. I knew in my mind that I could not hold any extra weight, and I had been trying for years. My entire freaking life I've been trying to lose weight. And I knew that I had to get strong. And I knew I had become a lot weaker because of I couldn't do as much because of my back pain. So I knew I had to lose weight. And I knew I had to do it right then. So I called a friend of mine who had been watching on Facebook, who had been doing a program, and she was doing phenomenal. And to be perfectly honest, I was like, when I first watched her, and many of you have been watching me probably think the same thing, I'm not doing any quick weight loss scheme. I've done those my entire life. So that's why I didn't call her before this point. This time I called her, I don't care what you're doing, sign me up. I need to lose 25 pounds and get this weight off because I do not want to have a fusion. I want my back to feel better. I want to be better. So I went on program. Within 2 weeks, I realized it was a 100% complete transformation program. I could not believe how easy it was and how amazing I was starting to feel like around food. Physically, my back hurt. My nerves hurt. Like I was in a lot of pain physically. But the freedom I had in my brain around food is something that I still have a really hard time putting into words, no matter how many times I try to do it. For the first time in my entire life, I felt like I had control of what was going in my body. I was choosing what was best for me. And I was doing it, and it wasn't hard because I had made a decision that I was going to do the right thing. And then I had the tools to do it. And so about a month in is when actually I was 3 weeks in to the program when I had to go back into the hospital for 7 days for the bone infection. Do y'all know I didn't eat off program one time when I was even in the hospital? Like it was crazy. It was crazy. So fast forward to January of 2022 when I had my fusion, I was 56 pounds lighter than I was the surgery I had in January the year before. That's significant because I thought I could, if I lost 25 pounds, it was going to be this humongous success. I lost double that. So when I say I gained weight and I lost weight and I gained weight and lost weight, not like I've yo-yoed in the past. Like this is, I went into major back surgery and gained a few pounds, and then as soon as the fluid from the IVs and the swelling went down, the weight was gone. Because this is a program that you learn how to fuel your body appropriately, and you learn how to do it to where you can maintain your weight loss. You really have to instill the healthy habits. It doesn't matter what diet program you do or what meal plan you follow or what exercise program you follow. Like you actually have to implement habits that can last you and sustain you a lifetime. And that's what I learned in this program. And that's what this podcast is about, to help you learn the elements of health and how to implement healthy habits that are going to get you to a lifelong weight loss. I was never good at my water. I was good at water for a while and then I would stop. And then I was good at water. And even this week, with it being so cold outside, in my free healthy habits group, we've been talking about like how hard it is to get water in the winter. Like I prefer to drink coffee all day. But even drinking coffee all day is better than when I was drinking Diet Coke all day. So anyway, I really felt like, I could sidebar here for a second. When I ate so much artificial sweeteners that my body had begun to treat them like regular sugar. So when you Google and read about people getting fat on Diet Coke, that's me, sister. I was the one getting fat on Diet Coke because sugar always have upset my stomach. And so I didn't use a lot of real sugar. I used a lot of artificial sweeteners. And when you're drinking 8, 10, 12 and more Diet Cokes a day, that's a lot of artificial sweeteners, and it does something to your brain. And your brain starts to light up with the artificial sweeteners just like it does with regular sugar. So on this program, I learned how to eliminate artificial sweeteners as well. I still use some, but not near as what I did before. So water and limiting the artificial sweeteners and using only natural sweeteners, getting away from a lot of diet soda and drinking more water and more clear liquids that are better for me, making sure I get enough sleep. I really, I've always known I needed more sleep, but I didn't really value it. But when you really look at your sleep patterns and realize how much it does affect how you can cognitively deal with emotional eating and hunger and your day, it really does make a difference. So some basic water and sleep and eating healthy. I learned how to eat healthy for the first time in my entire life. I eat 6 times a day. I drink my water, I get my sleep, and I move my body appropriately. That is a big thing. So you heard me talk about that year I lost 56 pounds. I didn't do one single day of exercise. I couldn't. And I still lost weight after years and years and years of exercising and running and walking, limiting my calories, limiting my carbs, like doing all the crazy stuff. And now this time I finally did it without any effort. Craziness. So here I am, 1 year post fusion. So where am I? I'm maintaining that 50-pound weight loss. Yes, I started at 56 was what my highest that I talk about was 56 pounds. I actually got to 60, but it was only for a day or two, so I don't count it. But I've maintained 50-pound weight loss. So when I say I've gained and lost, it's only been 6 pounds, people. That's a little bit different than what I used to, because I used to go up 40 pounds. I would go up 30 pounds before anybody would even notice. If they even noticed at all, who knows? But it's just a very different lifestyle. So if you're interested at all on how I have lost this weight, the program that I follow, I want you to join my Healthy Habits 101 group. I give you all the information there. You can do that, and you can just be a fly on the wall, and you can see what you think. Or schedule a time with me, and let's talk about it. And I would suggest that you do that, because if there is a time to start doing the program, now is it. So there are lots of things. It's January. So how is it going? Where do you want to be in 30 days from now? Where do you want to be in 60 days from now? And where do you want to be in 90 days from now? I can tell you 30 days after I started the program, I was 15 pounds down and loving life. When I was 3 months in, I think I was at 28 pounds. I guess I should have looked this up before I started recording this podcast. I think I was at 28 pounds at the 3-month mark. And then it took me 5.5 months to lose down to the 56 pounds. I started August 1st, and I did not make it by Christmas, which was what I was wanting to do, but I think I did it like the first week of January is when I made the goal. So anyway, now is the time. So when you're looking at where do you want to be in 30 days from now, I can help you get there. Where do you want to be in 60 days or 90 days? I can help you. Having a coach and having that one-to-one accountability was life-changing for me. And I have just enjoyed every minute of coaching this past year, helping other clients get to where they are in their weight loss journey. If you want to hear, or not hear, you can't hear on my website, but you can go and read on my website, coachkeitha.com. You can read some of the comments that clients have said, just some snippets there of messages I get from them or things they've said to me on the phone on our one-to-one calls every week. You know, it's going to be the best thing you've ever done for yourself. So I ask you, where do you want to be in 30 days? Where do you want to be in 60 days? Where do you want to be in 90 days? And where do you want to be this time next year? I hope you're like one of my favorite clients who posted on Facebook. This was her first year. Weight loss was not a New Year's resolution because she met her goal in 2022. So where do you want to be at the end of 2023? And what are your goals going to look like for 2024? I hope you have an amazing day, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Make sure to go to coachkeitha.com and schedule an appointment to talk to me. It's a free appointment. We're just going to talk about your goals, where you are in your health, and I'll help you pick the best program for you. I've got several options that we can work through, and we'll do it together, sister. Talk soon. Sister, could you relate? Did you feel that woman inside of you just trying to break free? If so, then we need to be friends. Head on over to the Facebook and send me a friend request. I'll actually accept it. You'll get my daily healthy eating recipes and see all the fun I have living a larger life in my smaller body. And you may even get a laugh or two over me and my 50 plus chickens. I proudly claim the Crazy Chicken Lady title. Plus, you might get some gardening tips on growing your own healthy meals. You'll quickly fall in love with my chocolate lab Brady and one of my many cats. You'll also see that I am a lipstick-loving, coffee-drinking mom, wife, and Jesus freak. Can't wait to see you over on Facebook. And more importantly, I really want to hear your thoughts on the show. I want to see your written reviews. Take 60 seconds and leave me a written review and then screenshot it and go on Instagram and tag me so I can give you a proper thank you for your review. If you're already thinking I might be the coach from you, you can go ahead and schedule a free appointment with me at coachkeitha.com. And how you spell Keitha is Keatha, coachkeitha.com. You can find all my social links in the show notes as well as my website link. Thanks again for listening to my show. I'll see you on the battlefield. Until next time.